Welcome to, yep, you guessed it, season 4 of Virtually Live from Sax-Zim Bog. And yeah, I was hoping this would be a spring episode, but we really haven't had spring yet. We had a few days over 50 and even over 60, so lost a lot of our snowpack, but never lost it all. And it is snowing again. It is April 21st, the day before Earth Day. I thought we'd just take a spin around the bog, see what migrants we could find. And even though the Welcome Center is now closed, we closed in mid-March, doesn't mean you can't come up to the bog. I'm walking the Bob Russell Bogwalk at Winterberry today, and it's beautiful. Yeah, that's open. Our outhouses are open. But I should say that the roads are a royal mess, and you're probably better off coming up in mid-May or later. And we'll start field trips in early May. Clinton's got a whole lineup on our website, including a new event, the Greater Sax-Zim Bog Big Day, Saturday, May 20th. I'll have details up on the website very soon. Kind of a fun event. Go out in the Greater Sax-Zim Bog and see what you can find on one day. Hopefully we'll time it with migration, and then we'll have a compilation on Sunday. Might even have a blitzathon in June. Yeah, stay tuned. Find out what that's about. There are a few warblers back, hard to believe, but there are. You may be wondering why some of these birds would come up north in this terrible weather, snowy, icy, cold. Well, a lot of migration is triggered by daylight length, and so these birds move north. Yes, they might come north and then head back, but it's a known advantage for males like this American robin. To get the best breeding territories, you got to come back early, and the risks are high because of the weather, but the rewards can be high. You can get the best nesting spots, maybe get the best mates. Also had a piebill grebe in the ditch. Not sure what it was finding. But this massive flock of ducks was one of the most exciting things I found. I plucked a single frame out of my video to see what was actually in this flock. The majority were green-winged teal. You can see a bunch of them here. You really often don't see hundreds of green-winged teal together. There were a fair number of mallards, but this single blue-winged teal was the only one I could find in this huge flock. Note the white crescent moon, quote-unquote, on its face, which is visible from a long distance. There were some other cool species, such as quite a few American widgeon and several pintails. These are all early duck migrants, kind of that middle wave that comes through the Northland. And a fun surprise, a black duck. You can see him in the middle there with that very dark body, that distinctive olive green bill. Note the female mallard to the left. It's got a kind of an orange and black bill, and the body is much lighter and a little more patterned. You can see a big flock coming in here. The widgeon are distinctive with those big white wing patches. A few pintails coming in. You can see their longer tail feathers. But once again, mostly green-winged teal. We don't often get these giant flocks of ducks. It's just the nature of this year. Stuff is frozen further north, and the melt-off left these big floodwater areas along the ditches and then fields. Just fun to see. roads are a little rough. I don't think I'm going to get very far. Admiral and McDavid have not been plowed, or nobody's driven down them. There's a good 6 inches of snow on the ground here. So I think I'll have to stick to... I'm going to go check out Stone Lake. People live down there, so that should be plowed. Wrong again, Sparky. Stone Lake Road hasn't been plowed either. But we're going to go for it. Stone Lake was about maybe a quarter open, and there were some early season ducks there as well, buffleheads and ringneck ducks. You can see that crescent white toward the front of the male's body. This is visible from a long distance away. This mallard was dealing as best it could with the overnight ice that had formed. No problem. It's snowing again. I think I'm going to come back and do part 2 of Virtually Live because I can't get to some of the spots I want to get. I'm trying to wait right here by some open water to see if some might come out and drink or bathe. I just saw a hermit thrush, so I'm waiting for that too. Yeah, but we'll do part 2 coming right up. Before we move on to part 2 of our Sax-Zim Bog adventure, I wanted to tell you about a new book that just came out by Arjan Dwarshuis in 2016. He did a big world year. Yeah, you heard me right. And set a brand new record tallying 6,800 species. So why am I telling you this? Well, he came to the Sax-Zim Bog. It was really one of his few stops in the Northern Hemisphere. And I guided him on that day. It was very cold and he had no winter coat, so I loaned him my parka. Ended up doing really well. It was funny because he kept yelling, "Great gray, great gray," and I'd slam on the brakes on those snowy roads. And he was talking about great gray shrike, which is what they call it in Europe, our northern shrike. And great gray owl was one of his big target birds. So that was a bit confusing. But then we got a call from one of the guides that they had a great gray on, I think, McDavid or Admiral. And we raced up there, as fast as you could on those icy roads. Got there, we were a minute too late. But he'd just seen one in Sweden the previous year. He never did get great gray owl for his big year. But here's a video I made right after that. Yeah, you might enjoy it. And it lists the species we did find and that were lifers for him and ones he added for his big world year. Extremely nice guy and very energetic. And he was also raising money for a Prevent Extinctions project, which I think you can just go to his website and he's probably still raising money for it. So how's your day been in Sax-Zim Bog?
Very, very good. Yes, I of course for my years mostly in tropical rainforest and cloud forest, and so this huge change of scene. Yesterday we were still with 30 degrees Celsius above. We're now 30 degrees below zero, so 60 degrees difference in temperature. You feel that? Luckily, you guys provided me with some warm clothes. And we had some fantastic birds, and so I really enjoy being out here in the boreal forest and in the snow. And Sparky, you showed us a fantastic time. and some fantastic birds. And blackback woodpecker was very nice. We just had pine and grosbeak, grey jay, boreal chickadee or boreal tit for for us, and both grouses. I'm doing this big year as a fundraiser for the BirdLife Preventing Extinctions program. With this big year, I try to support BirdLife International and their effort to save the world's most threatened birds and ecosystems. Also, with this big year, I want to show kids that it's cool to be a bird watcher and a naturalist, and instead of sitting at home, you should go out and enjoy nature, and because I think that's the greatest thing there is. And I broke the record about a month ago in Costa Rica, and right now I'm at red-breasted nuthatch. Really nice. Right now I'm at 6,660 species this year, and still counting, with 2 more weeks to go. Christmas I will be in Japan, and then my year will be finished, and then next year we'll be writing a book, giving a lot of talks, and I will keep on fundraising. I won't stop till I raise 100,000 euros for the BirdLife Preventing Extinctions program, so that will be next year. But now I'm just gonna enjoy it for as much as I can for the last 2 weeks.
Back to part 2 of Virtually Live. 5 days later, will we find spring now? Let's see. We are back in the Sax-Zim Bog for part 2 of Virtually Live. What is it? Well, it's the first episode of season 4, that's for sure. Snow's not all gone, but the roads are mostly clear. Oh. Hear that? Doot, 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 doot. Greater yellowlegs migrating overhead. And we'll see what other signs of springs we can find here. Canada geese flying overhead. Let's get to it. I'm here in the south end of Admiral, and snipe everywhere. Can hear them displaying overhead, just can't see them. And their winnowing is of course made by their stiff outer tail feathers. As they go into a swooping dive, the wind vibrates those stiff outer tail feathers, making that winnowing sound. When some people report screech owls in the North Woods, it's can often be displaying snipe. I'm going to make a visit back to that Canada jay nest spot and see if I can hear the babies begging. They'll be out of the nest soon, so yeah, crazy. No activity or don't hear any young begging at this possible spot for a Canada jay nest. Chad Hines had one a suspicious Canada Jay activity back in February, and then I came out and had a Canada Jay just sitting silently right here. So I think there was a nest. It's a little too early to fledge, I think. We'll give it a little bit longer, but pretty quiet. I did flush a grouse. Could have been a spruce grouse. I dropped my sunglasses in the water. We've got a Canada Jay just quietly teed up out here. I'm just, I turned off my engine and just sitting here because it could either be a female taking a break from the nest or a male waiting to feed the young. So I'm just going to see which direction it goes when it flies. Alas, I waited about a half hour and they really didn't do anything. They just kind of sat silently, would drop down on the ground and probably forage. They did chase off one bird low in the brush, but no nest yet. That was kind of neat. A late season rough-legged hawk heading its way back to the tundra in Canada where it nests, but didn't come very close to me. Got ruby crown kinglet and winter wren singing here along the south end of the Miracle Mile of McDavitt Road. Spring is really trying to bust its way into the Sax-Zim Bog, but Mother Nature is not cooperating. Snowstorms and cold temps. The high today is about 40. So it's coming, it's coming. And I want to shave my beard. I can't shave my beard till I hear my first mourning dove. A tradition that's going back to my freshman year in college. You may have got a mailing the other day. We're trying to do a little fundraising, got some projects. We want to fund some more science and research in Sax-Zim. Hawk owls, evening grosbeaks, shrikes, things like that. I'm also announcing a big project called the Sax-Zim Bog Accessible Trails Project. We're gonna put in a new boardwalk at the Welcome Center, making a loop that goes from the Welcome Center out to those trails west of the building, connects with the John C. Gale spur of the Taiga Boardwalk, and then it'll go all the way back to Grey Jay Way. So yeah, nice little loop. We're gonna get that done this year in 2023. Huge thanks to Bog Buddy Mark Listig for funding this project. It will be in memory of his wife, Becky, and will be a very important addition to the Sax-Zim Bog. We're also going to improve the trails at Wood Thrush Woods for those who want to hike it in the spring, summer, and fall. That site is not open in the winter. Yeah, and we're going to make the boardwalks a little more accessible, putting some more wide spots for wheelchairs to pass. Take a look at that mailing. I'll put it in the next e-newsletter as well. Thanks in advance for any gifts to friends of Sax-Zim Bog. Superstar bird of the episode has got to be that giant flock of green-winged teal with some pintails and widgeon mixed in. That was pretty cool. You don't see that very often. So until next time, keep your feet in your rubber boots because it is muddy out here and wet. And keep your eyes up looking for those first warblers. Actually, I've had a few yellow-rumped warblers at my suet at home. They're coming, they're coming. And check our website for upcoming events. Clinton's got a whole slew of field trips for spring and summer. All right, take care. See you next time.